The following is a telephone interview with Congressman Mark Andrews, Republican of North Dakota. Congressman Andrews, as a Republican, why did you co-sponsor the coalition farm bill, which is pretty much in opposition to the Nixon administration's farm program?
Well, there are a number of reasons, but the main one is it gives almost total and dictatorial powers to whoever is the Secretary of Agriculture. He can flex farm prices through a fantastic range. Not only this, but it unhitches the program from parity, and in a period of inflation, it's imperative that our farmers are protected from inflation just as other segments of the economy are.
Congressman Andrews, why do you feel the coalition farm bill is necessary for the American farmer?
Well, perhaps I'm a little prejudiced on this since I was the Republican co-sponsor of the coalition farm bill. I think it's the best possible program for our farmers at this time. It spells out specifically what our farmers will get, and it moves them closer to full parity than they are at the present time. It also puts in an export certificate, and when we're competing in the overseas market against other countries that produce grain for the worldwide market, and their exports are subsidized by their national treasuries, it's not fair for our farmers to have to compete against other national treasuries. We can compete against other farmers in the world, but we need the help of our government the same way every other farmer in this world has the help of his government. The Coalition Farm Bill also is permanent legislation so that the farmers of America can plan ahead. They can plan ahead in their borrowing with their local borrowing authority, and they can be able to know with certainty that plans made into the future will be able to stand up.
What chances do you see for the passage of the coalition farm bill?
The bill that has passed the subcommittee at the present time, and let's point out it passed by only one vote, completely removes the concept of parity. It ties price supports to the last 3 years and has them on a fixed level, which means in an inflationary economy that farm prices could only trend downward. This is one major strike against it. The other is that it's only a 3-year program. We need a permanent act if we're going to have good farm legislation. There are many other things, of course, that are objectionable, that don't measure up to the coalition farm bill, but I think that our farmers are interested in knowing that we're trying to redo the action of this subcommittee of the House Agriculture Committee. The chairman of the subcommittee, Graham Purcell, and I have been visiting many times in the last 2 weeks. He's going to try to rewrite this bill in the subcommittee and feels that because it was passed out by only one vote, we've got a good chance of doing this. We know also that it's easier to pass a farm bill, a good farm bill, in the Senate than it is in the House because of the preponderance of urban lawmakers in the House. We're hopeful that we can get a good bill, probably the coalition bill, through the Senate. And then with the bill that we can get through the House, we can amend it in conference so that it responds to the needs of our farmers. We hope that we'll be able to see what the final shape of the House version of the Farm Bill will be within the end of this month. Certainly, it's long past due. Our farmers need this information so that they can set their cropping plans for this year and the year following.
Thank you, Congressman Andrews. The following is a tape interview with Representative Tom Kleppe of North Dakota, Republican of North Dakota. Congressman Kleppe, why did you vote against the administration's wheat and feed grain proposals in the subcommittee?
I couldn't support those proposals because, in my opinion, that was another, what I call, stab in the back to our farmers. I think in the subcommittee we'd gone as far as we felt we could go, and certainly this is the way I felt. And my opinion is that the proposals that were presented to us by the administration would serve as another way to ensure a decrease in income for farmers. And this I just don't think we can that we can accept, and most certainly I couldn't accept it, and that's why I voted no on it.
Why do you support the Coalition Farm Bill?
In the first place, we have been told a number of times that we could look forward to roughly the same dollars from the government in the hands of farmers on our commodity programs as we are getting this year. It seemed to me that the coalition bill would come the closest to providing this. I think the total provisions of the coalition bill probably would have provided more dollars. And this, of course, is a position that I support because I realize, and have for a long time, that our farmers today are right close to the bottom of the totem pole from the total economic picture in our country. And it seems to me that if we don't do something to keep the farmers and the producers of our country healthy, then we are making a serious mistake, and ultimately, in my opinion, the consumer will be the loser.
Congressman Kleppe, what do you think the chances are for passage of the Coalition Farm Bill?
Well, very frankly, I'm not as optimistic about this as I'd like to be, because most of the friends of the farmers, as I look at them, were members of our subcommittee on livestock and grains, and we lost there by 1 vote. It's possible that we will lose by a larger margin in the full committee, but we're still going to try to put together an effort to correct the language and correct some of the provisions to make it a little stronger bill in support of the farmers themselves. Now, whether we can succeed in doing this or not, as I said, I am at this point not too optimistic about, but we're going to try. Now, suppose that that fails. Then we've got to decide whether we take this question to the floor and tell our story there on behalf of the farmers and the producers of our country, and hope that we can get enough votes there to strengthen it so that farmers will come out better. Now, I'd like to add here that with this promise that we've been given, literally, about same dollars going into the farm program to ensure that the farmer's income will be as good as it was this year, my view is that the proposals that were passed out of the subcommittee, which I opposed, will not provide that same income. And this is a very basic reason why I disagree with it, and why I think that we must improve and bolster some of those provisions, particularly the 100% of parity aspect, which we so far have lost. And the other thing being, of course, that we don't allow this loan to be set at world prices, which can be a very difficult proposition as I see it for farmers. So this is in a nutshell the way it looks today, and each day is going to bring about a different pattern, I suspect. But as it stands now, that's the way it looks to me.
Thank you, Congressman Kleppe. The following is a very brief interview by phone with Senator Quinton Burdick. Senator Burdick, why do you support the Coalition Farm Bill?
If agriculture is to be a viable force in the great heartland of this nation, the passage of the Coalition Farm Bill is an absolute must and is a minimum of what we should do here in the Congress.
Thank you, Senator Burdick.